Thanks for joining today's Snapshot for Friday, July 17th. I hope we can have our service on Sunday. If it looks like rain, call the church office for the voicemail message or call me on my cell at 262-909-2990. And it's going to be hot, so don't be afraid to sit behind the band or under the portico or bring an umbrella for shade. I heard a podcast yesterday in which a noted infectious disease expert in the country talked about a vaccine speech he gave a few years ago, and he talked about the various illnesses. And as he talked about polio, a woman looked confused. So he stopped his little talk and said, do you have a question? And she said, why do you keep talking about shirts? She had confused the polo fashion design with the disease polio. That shows how much it was not on her mind or any of our minds at this point in our culture. But it was really on our minds in 1952 when there were over 400,000 cases worldwide. 3,000 died in the United States alone. There were 58,000 cases in the US, and 21,000 people were disabled. Today's the anniversary of the first epidemic in the United States back in 1894 in Rutland, Vermont, but there were other epidemics, minor ones, if it wasn't you, it was minor, in Louisiana and New York City in 1916. Well, the tide turned when Jonas Salk invented the Salk vaccine. I was part of the trials in 1954. 200,000 people in the US, children, because the disease affected children. 200,000 got the real vaccine in a couple of shots. 2,000 got placebos, and 1 million more were not vaccinated but followed. Well, it turns out that those who got the vaccine were none of them came down with polio, and I was one of the lucky ones. I didn't have to get a second round of shots. But the relief was amazing because parents were so concerned about their children because the children are the ones who got it in the United States. No more would there be iron lungs. No more would they have to tell their children to socially distance themselves from others. They no longer had to avoid creeks and swimming pools. For some reason, people thought it was transmitted more in water. It was so wonderful when that happened. There were no more kids going out to collect money for the March of Dimes. That's where the March of Dimes started, as children went, even during this time of social distancing, to collect money for research. Well, was there any controversy after the vaccine was developed by Jonas Salk? Well, yes, there was. Who's going to pay for it? Is it to be distributed on a priority basis? Jonas Salk said, no, I developed this for everybody. Is insurance going to pay for it? Do states pay for it? I'm really concerned about what's going to happen when we get the vaccine developed for the coronavirus. We have immediate concerns now about masks and reopening and social distancing. But there will also be a concern about how we're going to administer this vaccine around the world and in the United States. Get ready for some concern on that point. I'm just glad that there will be a day 50 years down the line when some scientists will talk about corona and somebody's going to say, why do you keep talking about beer? Let's conclude with this verse from the hymn, Healer of Our Every Ill, Light of Each Tomorrow. Give us peace beyond our fear and hope beyond our sorrow. You who know each thought and feeling, teach us all your way of healing. Spirit of compassion, fill our heart. God be with you today.